Hey guys, Keaton here from TechSmart, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. Now before we start this unboxing and review, if you guys would like to win the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5 or the all-new HTC One, also known as the HTC M8, go ahead and drop me a comment down below with your choice, and while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button as it lets me know you guys want more giveaways like this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the unboxing portion. So starting with the unboxing portion, on the front it says Samsung Galaxy S5, 5 being the 5th edition of the Samsung Galaxy S series, and on the back is the specifications, and then on the side is just some general SIM card info. Popping at the top, we're immediately greeted with the Samsung Galaxy S5 in shimmering white with some labels just protecting the screen and everything. Digging in further, we have our literature pack, our micro USB cable, our earbuds, the ear tips, and a power adapter. Digging into the literature just a bit more here, we have some quick start guide info, and then we have the SIM card info, which just tells us where this phone can work, and in my case it can only work in the Americas, whether that's North America, Central America, or South America. So taking the plastic off both sides of the Samsung Galaxy S5, the screen looks absolutely gorgeous just right out of the box, and let's go ahead and power it on and dive out into the review portion of this video. So starting off with the hardware, we have a 5.1 inch 1080p Super AMOLED display with a PPI count or pixels per inch count of 432. At the top is a speaker and a 2.1 megapixel front-facing camera, and towards the bottom of the phone we have our capacitive home button, which is also a fingerprint sensor, and the 2 capacitive buttons on the side of the fingerprinted home button. To the right of the device we have the sleep-wake switch, and towards the left is some volume rockers, and at the top of the phone is an IR blaster, a microphone, and 3.5mm headphone jack. And towards the bottom of the phone is an additional microphone and the USB 3.0 charging port. To the back of the phone is a 16 megapixel camera with 4K video capabilities and the heart rate sensor, which we'll go ahead and talk about a little bit later. At the bottom of the phone we have the speaker, and just touching a little bit more on the back here, it doesn't feel exactly like you would see on the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 or some of the Tab Pro or Note Pro tablets made by Samsung, but it has kind of a semi-perforated feeling, and it feels a lot better than just slimy plastic, so I think that's a big plus, and I like the feeling of the back as a whole. So just rounding out the specifications here, the Galaxy S5 has a quad-core Snapdragon 2.5 GHz processor, 2 GB of RAM, the Adreno 330 GPU, LTE capabilities depending on your area, Android 4.4.2 in terms of software at the time of this recording, a 2800 mAh battery, a micro SD card slot for expandable storage, and IP67 certification, meaning this phone is very durable compared to some of the other Samsung Galaxy S models and other phones out on the market. So moving to software on the phone, it does feature Android 4.4.2 KitKat at the time of this recording, and to be honest, I'm a big fan of Android 4.4.2 KitKat and just KitKat as a whole because I think it's a nice overhaul for Android, and it kind of adds some new features to any device that it's running on. So since we're looking at a Samsung device here, it does feature the TouchWiz skin, and I think on the Samsung Galaxy S5 it's a lot less intrusive than it has in the past, and it kind of has some new design overhauls, such as when you go into the settings menu, the list is no longer there, but it's actually circular icons, which is kind of a nice fresh look to the settings menu as a whole. So some other cool features that I really like, besides Android being so customizable and getting access to the Google Play Store, is the camera. In the camera there's tons of options for just taking different types of photos, such as beauty shot and HDR, and we'll take a look at the camera a little bit later within the video, but I just think the amount of options there, while they can be confusing from a user coming from iOS to Samsung or Windows Phone to a Samsung device, the options are just phenomenal, and you can easily go and customize each and every picture or do a certain type of shot that you wouldn't be able to do on a competing device. So also in the software realm is ultra power saving mode. So if you're ever in a pinch to need to send that last tweet or text message, you can go ahead and turn the setting on, and it'll convert all the colors and just all the cool things about the display into a black and white display and just allow you to get that tweet or text message out. And if you go ahead and switch it on now, once your phone is fully charged, you're seriously going to notice how much extra battery life can be conserved just by turning all the pixels to black and white. And I think this is a really cool feature because we're always trying to send that last message, and we're always trying to constantly keep using our phones, and I think this is one of those features that every manufacturer should start incorporating into their phones, because a lot of these smartphones die too quickly. But with the battery size on this Samsung Galaxy S5, that might not exactly be the case, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that a little bit later. So overall, I'm a big fan of the software on the Samsung Galaxy S5, and I think when the next iteration of Android does come out, it's going to be really cool to see how it accents the Samsung Galaxy S5. So moving over to one of my favorite portions of the video, it's the display. So displays on smartphones have constantly been getting bigger and have better resolution, and some displays in 2014 are even at the 2K resolution, which is just really cool. So the Samsung Galaxy S5 features a 5.1-inch 1080p Super AMOLED display with a PPI count of 432, and trust me guys, it looks absolutely fantastic. Color accuracy is spot on, and whether you're watching a movie, posting a tweet, or just browsing the internet and just looking at some articles, text, video, anything you're doing on this phone looks so sharp, and I think it's one of the biggest selling points to any device, but more specifically the Samsung Galaxy S5. I think the extra 0.1 inch of an upgrade from the Samsung Galaxy S4 is worth it, and I think the color accuracy is just a hint better than it is on the Samsung Galaxy S4. I don't know, it's just my experience with the phone, and I was just completely in love with the display because I am an iPhone user, and just getting that extra 1.1 inches is seriously nice no matter what you're doing on the phone. Also, another great thing is when you're taking pictures, you get a nice big old viewfinder, and that's fantastic because you can easily see every single crevice of the picture with having such a big viewfinder, and you can really just start to get into the picture versus some other smartphones that have smaller displays, such as my iPhone 5S. So overall, I was a big fan of the display on this phone, and I think any user who doesn't want a phablet of a phone but wants a bigger display than your iPhone 5S, the Samsung Galaxy S5 is most definitely for you. So up next here, it's the camera. So starting with the front-facing camera, it's a 2.1 megapixel camera, and it can really capture whatever you want with it in a nice vivid picture. The color accuracy is spot on there, and although it's not as good as the 16 megapixel camera found in the rear, it was able to perform very well for me whether I was taking Snapchats, using Skype, or just pretty much using any type of the modes that do optimize the front-facing camera on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Now flipping to the star of the show, which is the 16 megapixel rear-facing camera, this guy looks absolutely fantastic, and I know Instagram shots typically look better on iPhones, but I felt that the Instagram shots, or just using the camera as a whole, was quite comparable to the iPhone 5S in my experience, and I found that some of the modes such as HDR mode and beauty shot were just some of the modes that I was using quite frequently, and I just think the 16 megapixel can really capture detail in a new light, and I loved every single pixel that I was able to look back on in my photos. So also found in the phone is 4K video capabilities, and while 4K is kind of the future for video and everything, it doesn't look too good on any smartphone, and this is the case for the Samsung Galaxy S5 because of the lack in optical image stabilization. So maybe when they do add it to the phone in the Samsung Galaxy S6 or just any type of other smartphone out on the market, 4K will look phenomenal on this phone. But in terms of 1080p video capabilities, it looked fantastic, and I was really able to capture everything I wanted to, having the nice and big 5.1 inch viewfinder always accented to my photos. So overall, I was a big fan of the camera on this phone, and I think any user switching to this phone will notice it too. So transitioning on to benchmarks, as this is kind of the best way to represent how powerful the phone is overall, we're going to be testing out Geekbench, Quadrant, Antutu, and GFX Bench to test out the GPU and just total performing power of the Samsung Galaxy S5. So after our tests have concluded, these are some of the results that we got for each test. So in terms of battery life on the Samsung Galaxy S5, I was able to achieve around 9 to 10 hours on a single charge and just using it pretty averagely. So my use really consisted of just watching some YouTube videos throughout the day, responding to some emails, tweeting, text messaging, just the standard stuff that most consumers would do. And obviously the battery life will go down severely if you're using this phone every second of the day, and it will go up if you're not really using the phone at all. But again, 9 to 10 hours is pretty average compared to some other smartphones out on the market, but is not as good as the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 or the HTC One, also known as the M8. So one of the cool features on the phone here, especially in the battery category, is the ultra power saving mode. So I talked about this a little bit in software, but what it does is it converts all the beautiful colors that you see on the 5.1 inch display to black and white and really starts to conserve all the battery power on this phone. So if you're at 3% battery and you switch on ultra power saving mode, you're definitely going to be able to go ahead and get that phone to last a lot longer than you would be with just having a colorful and beautiful display. So I think a lot of companies should be incorporating this into their phones because it really helps out battery a lot and can allow consumers to just finish up that text message or tweet. And believe me, most of those things don't even require a colored display. It's just kind of one of those nice features to have. So overall, I was definitely impressed with the battery life on the Samsung Galaxy S5. And although it's not perfect and doesn't give me a full day's worth of use, which is about 17 hours in my book, I thought it was pretty standard, and I can't wait till the Samsung Galaxy S6 to see how they've improved in terms of battery life. So in terms of new features found in the Galaxy S5, it is completely littered with them, and I think this is definitely one of the biggest selling points to the phone. So up first is the fingerprint sensored home button. So we saw some similar technology way back in the day, and when I mean way back in the day, I mean the Motorola Atrix, which came out just a few years ago. Yes, I'm talking like I was born way back when. But the fingerprint sensor on here definitely does work, and although we do see its similar mechanism found on Apple's iPhone 5S, where you just place your finger on the home button, with this one you actually have to swipe from the screen to the button. So although it can be a little bit weird from a user switching to the iPhone 5S or just going in there thinking it's going to be just placing your finger on the home button, it's actually not that intrusive and it works very well when you are doing it. Although it does take a little bit of time to get used to, I found it keeping my phone secure and was a lot better than just swiping it without any passwords or just typing in a numerical or alphabetical password. Up next is IP67 certification. So I did a video on this, pretty much testing out the phone's IP67 certification, especially in water and durability. And if you want to check those out, links can be found on screen and right below that like button on this video. But this durability on this phone is absolutely crazy. We've run over it with an SUV, we've put it in the pool for over an hour, I've even thrown it in my washing machine. This guy still survives, and I think with a lot of consumers who can be clumsy or just are using it on a daily basis, this phone will definitely last you a lot longer and is actually a lot more durable than the Samsung Galaxy S4. So that is a pretty big upgrade to this smartphone and allows consumers to have that peace of mind with their smartphone. So up next here is S Health, and this is one of the biggest things found in the phone, and there's actually a hardware implementation found in the back to accent this. So starting off with S Health, you can input your food that you've consumed for the day. You can check out the pedometer portion if you want to keep track of how many steps you've taken throughout the day. But I think the coolest thing here is being able to calculate your heart rate or your pulse. So what you do is you just place your finger on the back of the phone, and although I thought it would be intrusive and weird to just place your finger on the back of the phone while watching the press conference, it's actually not that weird at all, and it's really nice to be able to work out at the gym and find out where you kind of need to target your heart rate to burn the most calories or just stay the most fit in terms of your life. So I found that the feature on here worked very well, and I think the whole S Health integration should be found on more smartphones, and we might be seeing that with the iPhone 6 and iOS 8. But overall, I really just was impressed with the S Health feature, and I think a lot of consumers are going to enjoy it too. So just finally here, it's more software quirks, so such as the settings menu, how it does look different than it has looked in the past. And there's some other software quirks within there, and I'll let you guys go ahead and find those. But I think the TouchWiz modifications with Android 4.4.2 are nice and subtle, and I think a lot of consumers are going to like those. So in the end, this phone is littered with new features, and I know a lot of consumers are seriously going to enjoy all the new quirks that the Samsung Galaxy S5 has. So at the end of the day, I'd recommend the Galaxy S5 to any user who wants a great smartphone with a big display, and that definitely does take a look at the health integrations that smartphones can have. Although a lot of manufacturers have just relied on developer support to kind of make the health integrations, Samsung is doing it so you're getting the OEM experience when you want to go ahead and work out and use the health performance on a phone. And I think that's really great, and I know a lot of consumers are really going to like that. I'm a big fan of the camera, the fingerprinted home button, and just a lot of the new features that can be found on the S5, and I think a lot of you guys are going to appreciate it as well. And also Android 4.4.2, the decent battery life, and just having an IP67 certified phone, it really just adds to the performance, and I think Samsung has truly killed it this year. Now, although some of these upgrades are very minimal, and it's not that big of a leap as we did see with the Samsung Galaxy S3 to the S4, I think it's just enough to convert S4 users to the S5 or any new user looking for a new smartphone. And finally, by owning a Samsung phone, you're going to get that direct wearable support, so such as the Gear 2, Gear 2 Neo, or Gear Fit. So this means you can start to integrate some of those cool health benefits found in S Health with a cool accessory that you can go ahead and slap on your wrist. So the Samsung Galaxy S5 starts at $229 on a 2-year contract and is available in charcoal black, shimmering white, electric blue, and in copper gold, and will be in stores on April 11th of 2014, and depending on your carrier, it might even be there a little bit sooner. Seriously guys, this phone is definitely super-proofed and can even withstand a washing machine, which is always cool, and that's definitely a big selling point for me on a smartphone. Thank you guys so much for watching this video where we unboxed and reviewed the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to win a Samsung Galaxy S5 or the all-new HTC One, also known as the M8, go ahead and drop me a like down below, and also throw me a comment down below letting me know if you guys would like the M8 or the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. Finally, go ahead and subscribe to the channel to be notified when we produce a brand new video like this, or a giveaway, or a cool crazy test testing the phone's water capabilities or how durable it can be to a knife and a car key. Thank you guys once again, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.